today we're going to be actually making a delightful chicken lentil curry. So we've pretty much got some chicken thighs, which we're going to sear down. But before we do that, we're actually going to be making the base. So we're going to have onions, garlic, some fresh ginger in there, some spices, a little bit of curry powder, also those green lentils as well. And the green lentils is like, do you have to soak them overnight? You actually don't need to soak these overnight. You can just rinse them through and then cook them through. I was reading up, and if you do soak them over for a night, then it's kind of reducing the toughness to them, but you can still cook them out and they'll still turn out fine. So in addition, we're also going to have a delightful naan bread as well to go with this. So something to dip the delightful deliciousness in. And that's pretty much it. It's a very straightforward dish for today. For our recipe day, so I hope you guys will check it out later on the website when I type it up later on tonight. I'm going to start the naan bread, and the first thing we want to do is get 125 ml of milk, and we're going to bring that up to 35 Celsius or 95 Fahrenheit. Don't get it any hotter, you could kill the yeast. You can bring it up a little bit more, but I find this is the optimal temperature, so if you go any lower, it's going to take a while for it to proof for the naan bread, so make sure you get it at the right temperature. So let's get 125 ml of milk first. So we're going to pop that onto the stove, heat that up. If it goes too hot, you can always let it cool down, or if you want to use a thermometer, that's absolutely fine. In addition, which I forgot, we want a teaspoon of sugar in there as well. So I'm just going to quickly pop that in there now. So we want 1 teaspoon of dry active yeast as well. We're going to need some bread flour out, so I'm going to wet that out, or strong white flour if you want to call it that, that's fine. So we want about 300 grams of that. Right, that's ready already. See, it takes about a minute. It does not take long at all, so that's already come up to temperature. All you're doing is pretty much taking the chill out of it and heating it through a little bit more, just to get it up to 35 Celsius or 95 Fahrenheit. Right, let's give this a little mix. Right, so that's all dissolved. Beautiful. Did I add salt to this? I don't think I did. Pinch of salt. If I did, well, somebody's going to be very salty later on. Pinch of salt. I also want 100 grams of Greek yogurt and 5 ml of oil. 5 ml of oil I don't really need to weigh. It's just going to be like this. Boop. Done. And then we want 100 grams of yogurt. Now, obviously you think the yogurt is cold from the fridge and you think, oh, is that going to affect the yeast? As long as you mix it in with the flour, it should like take most of that chill off it. So you should be fine. Right, let's mix this up so we can get that yogurt incorporated, just to take the chill out of it so it doesn't take the heat from our yeast. Right, so that's taken the chill out of the yogurt now. So we can put the milky yeasty mix in there. Now if it's a little bit too wet, you can always add a little touch more flour. If it's a little bit too dry, you can always add a smidge of oil or maybe a little dash of milk or whatever takes your fancy. I'd probably suggest a little bit touch of oil. So yeah, I'm probably going to add a little smidge of oil to this chat because it's not like dry, but we've got like little bits left in there. So already, let's mix that together. So yeah, just a little touch more oil. Probably going to say about 10 to 15 grams or mils will be absolutely suffice for this. Right, so we're going to give this a knead until nice and smooth. It's going to take about 5 minutes. It's not going to take long. Right, okay. I feel like that's good to go. I'm just going to wash my hands. Right, let's prep up the veggies next. So we're going to prep up the 1 white onion, peeled and then diced. 4 garlic cloves, peeled and then grated. 2 teaspoons of fresh ginger, peeled and then grated. We're going to get 1 red bell pepper. Cut that in half. Sorry, we're going to get a red bell pepper. We're going to de-seed it, and then we're going to dice that up as well. And also 2 tomatoes, 2 vine tomatoes, or I'd say 2 to 4 pearl tomatoes, sorry. We're going to dice them up as well. So we're going to get all those veggies chopped up first, and then we're going to start cooking. Right, so let's dice up our onions. So we're going to cut across horizontally, keeping the root intact, and then obviously the more layers you get through this, the more finer dice you're going to get out of it as well. And then just cutting vertically, sorry, same way as you did horizontally, and then just cut straight across, and you should have a nice little fine dice of onion. And then when you get to the end piece, just repeat the same kind of process. So I'm just going to cut it in half, cut across, and then just dice it up. So I'm going to grate the garlic down. Garlic? Sorry, ginger. Derp. So just grating down the garlic as well. Right, anyway. So I was going to cut it in half anyway, so it actually split at the right place. So that makes my life a little bit more easier. So snap it in half. I'm going to take the pith out and the seeds, and then we're going to dice this up. So dice this up, or slice it up, sorry, and then we're going to dice it. So let's dice up the tomatoes as well, seeds and skin included. Veggies diced up, so we're going to get a large pan on with a tablespoon of oil on a medium heat on the stove. Onions, garlic, ginger going in. I'm going to saute these off for about 5 minutes till soft. I'm going to add the peppers in next. Right, tomatoes are going in. I'm going to take about a couple of minutes, just cook down, soften up. So we're going to get a can of tomatoes as well. We're going to get the spice, probably the spices in first. I think it was 4 teaspoons to be honest, chat, which I think is right about there. That makes more sense to me. 4 teaspoons of curry powder, sorry. If you do want cayenne pepper, it's optional. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons for a bit of kick and spice. You can add as much as you want if you want it hotter or you want it milder. And also we're going to have a teaspoon of turmeric just to give it that color and a little bit of flavor. Also wanted 1 teaspoon of paprika in there as well. Right, tomatoes, also coconut milk as well. A tablespoon of vinegar in here as well. So we're going to get the lentils in there next. 100 grams. You don't actually need to soak these, like most pulses. These ones you can just rinse, and you can then just put them straight into cook. And they're going to take about half an hour to soften up. Right, lentils are going in. So we want to let that cook down for roughly about, I would say, half an hour to an hour first. And then we're going to get the chicken in and then cook it down for another 30 to 40 minutes. This is looking very delicious. Very good. So I'm going to put this at the back on a low heat. Put this onto a medium heat. We're going to get a pan. We're going to start searing that beautiful chicken off. Let's get my large pan out. Why not? Just open them up. And all we want to do is pretty much... Are these boneless or bone in? Oh, these are bone in. Beautiful. More flavor. So what we're going to do is pretty much salt, which is season, and then we're going to add some pepper, which is a spice, not seasoning. Also, while we're waiting for that to heat up, we're actually going to preheat our oven ready for the naan bread. So I'm going to turn this on to 180 Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit. And then very shortly, we're going to put the cast iron pan in the oven to preheat as well. Once that's nice and hot, we can knock back the naan bread, shape them, and then we can start cooking them. They're going to take about 5 minutes each side in the oven on the cast iron pan. Dropping the chicken in skin side down. I'm going to leave it for about 5 minutes to really give it a nice crispy skin. Flip the chicken over. You should have a nice, beautiful, golden crispy skin now. And then just cook it for another 5 minutes on that side as well. Put my chicken in there now. So I'm going to keep the chicken fat. I can use it in the naan bread, so you can get that beautiful flavor from it. Don't smash it, chef. Jesus, crazy sod. Post it tonight. Right, there we go. Got to add more flavor to it, right, chat? Right, so I'm gonna put that at the front in a bit. I'm just gonna let that kind of sit and carry on what it's doing because that's a little too hot to sit on at the moment. So also you can take the lid off after a while, just give it a little mix around like I'm doing now. So just keep an eye on it, so just occasionally stir it even when the lid's on. But this is going to take about 30 to 40 minutes to really kind of cook out that chicken. Crack on with that naan bread because we need to knock it back. So look at that little pillow of joy. It looks so good. Right, so we're going to cut this up into 4. Right. So you want to be basically just making a teardrop shape for the naan bread. It's usually what you want to look for. I'm gonna let them proof just for a little bit, not too long. Right, I'm just gonna leave this off for a little bit now, just to kind of reduce and get down to the right consistency. So we're taking the lid off. It's had about 20 minutes already, and just going to let that bubble away now, just to help reduce down and get to the right consistency. Bit of chicken fat. It's get that straight in. That's going to go straight in the oven. 5 minutes, flip it, another 5 minutes, and we should be done. But anyway, so you need to preheat your oven to 200 Celsius or 400 Fahrenheit. Preheat your cast iron pan. If you haven't got a cast iron pan, you could use like a thin pizza tray or something to do this on. Make sure it's really nice and hot, and then put it in. And put it in the oven for 5 minutes. Take it out, flip it, put it back in for another 5 minutes, and then you should be good. You should be golden. You should be good to go. Waiting for this next one to come out, and then we should be good. Then we just do our last one, and then we're going to plate up this curry and pretty much finish up for the day very shortly. Oh, look at this chat. Look at that little delightful gem right there. And just finish it off with a little bit of, if you got cilantro, fantastic. Going for a little bit of parsley on this one. Chicken lentil curry that we made for today. And so for the base, we pretty much did 1 onion diced up, obviously skins removed, top and tail. And also we had 4 garlic cloves, peeled and grated down on the microplane. Same with the 2 teaspoons of fresh ginger. We also had 1 red bell pepper diced up, two normal sized tomatoes, or 4 small ones, or 3 or 4, diced up with the skin on and seeds. And the spices we had in there as well, we had 1 teaspoon of paprika, 4 teaspoons of curry powder. Also we had 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper, and the cayenne pepper you can have optional depending on how much heat you want in there. We also, in addition, had a can of tomatoes, a can of coconut milk. In addition, we also had a tablespoon of vinegar as well. What else was there? I think that was it. Oh, of course, and then obviously the 100 gram of green lentils. So we rinsed the lentils out, pop them in there, and then obviously cook them out for about half an hour. We sealed the chicken thighs off in a nice hot pan, 5 minutes each side, salt on the skin, flip it over another 5 minutes, and then into the pan. Lid on for about 20 minutes. Take the lid on about halfway through, and then cook for another 20-30 minutes until those chicken is nice and tender and the consistency of the sauce is to the right consistency that you want. As for the naan breads, pretty much you'll make 4 small ones. I wouldn't say small, they're pretty big actually. 300 grams of bread flour or strong white flour, 100 grams of Greek yogurt, mix that in, about 10 to 50 ml of oil, pinch of salt, and then for the milk with the yeast, we heated up the milk 125 ml of milk, which we heated up to 35 Celsius or 95 Fahrenheit. So making sure you get that temperature right for the yeast. If you get it too hot, you could kill the yeast. If you get it too cold, it won't proof. So just make sure you get the right temperature. And we had a teaspoon of sugar in there as well, and 1 teaspoon of the yeast. Mixed it up, combined the 2 together, kneaded it for 5 minutes, let it proof for about 2 hours until doubled in size, knocked it back, cut into 4, shaped, let it proof for a little bit longer, and then 400 Fahrenheit, 200 Celsius, heated up a cast iron pan. We also kept the chicken fat from the chicken, used a little bit of that for the oil. In the pan, 5 minutes each side in the oven, and it'll come out nice, golden crisp, and then soft in the middle. Fantastic. And then just a bit of parsley or coriander or cilantro to finish it off. Right, let's have a little try. Let's have a look. Ooh, this is really hot. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Wow. There's lovely, beautiful heat in there. The creaminess from the coconut, the spices going on, the kick, the saltiness. You don't even need to add any salt to this because there's enough seasoning in there from the chicken and the... Oh my goodness me. This is so good. Just check that chicken as well. Bit of that chicken on there. And chicken's moist, it's tender. And you know what I want to do? You know what I want to do, chat? You ready for this? Oh, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Right? Mop up all that beautiful juice. Stay safe, awesome, amazing, and I'll see you tomorrow for YouTube, Monday for more Twitch. Anyway, chat, stay safe, have a great weekend. Bye for now, my friends.